Hello, encouragers. I'm Rebecca Scott, wife, mother of 4, author, and owner and designer of Rebecca Scott Designs. I'm here to encourage you, to make you feel the I can do this spirit each and every day of our awesome journeys to fulfill those many important roles. I believe we are fully equipped to execute, and I will provide you with as much knowledge and practices and systems as I can to help you understand just what I know you can do. Execute. We got this. Hello, encouragers. On today's podcast, I want to talk about how I break down my tasks daily, weekly, even bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. I have resources, and a ton of them are free on my website, theencouragerpodcast.com. But I thought I would break down to you what a day looks like for me, what a week looks like for me, what bi-weekly, quarterly, monthly, and yearly look like, so that you have an idea of how you could break down your tasks as well. I get asked, how do you do it? So frequently, all the time. People take a look at what I am doing, running my family of 4 kiddos, my husband, running the 2 businesses. So I get asked that question frequently. And I kept breaking this down in my head, which came about my podcast to share with you how I do that. Then I wrote the book to share with you even more. And now I also have the member page to share on a daily basis with the members on Facebook. I highly encourage you to join. How am I doing it? And this is a real breakdown of the daily tasks and then the weekly, bi-weekly, quarterly, monthly, and yearly. And I think you will really enjoy this on how to group your tasks as well. So just to recap, I am a wife of 17 years. I'm a mother of 4, and I'm the owner of Rebecca Scott Designs and also here, The Encouragers. I have to stay organized. I have to plan. And planning always helps me to get the things done. And it holds me accountable to accomplishing all the roles and the missions I believe God has called me to do. Every day, I refer to my agenda sheet to keep me organized. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do daily. My agenda sheet is a printable from my website, theencouragerpodcast.com, but I'll explain what it looks like here on the podcast. But I highly encourage you, go to theencouragerpodcast.com, go to the resources tab, and download the agenda sheet. Now, this is not my baby. This was created by my executive assistant, Angie, and it's just a brilliant way to keep your daily tasks organized and also a look at your week. Okay. So on my agenda sheet, it has Monday through Friday. On each day, there are bullet points of what I do for that day based on my blocking that I have done. Definitely listen to any of my podcasts on the blocking. I swear by blocking, okay? I also have it within my digital course, and I also have it on my membership group where we talk a little bit more in detail. But basically, blocking is putting like things together on certain days for certain tasks so you don't bounce all week long, okay? So it's themed things for Monday, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that are blocked together so you're not bouncing around all week and having to pick up where you left off. You're doing it all in one day. So on my sheet, Mondays are fabric pulling with Brenda, the work order details, my phone call with my assistant, and laundry. Right? Okay, you can have both life and work on your agenda sheet because that's how I operate. I'm operating from home, have for the last 17 years. You're going to see both life and work on my agenda sheet. Now, I do have people that separate their agenda sheet. So they have one agenda sheet that is for their family life, and then they have another agenda sheet that is for their work life. You can totally do that. Neither one is good or bad. It's whatever is going to work for you. I just know that for me, I want the one sheet of paper, and it helps me operate better like that. But if you need the 2 so that you can put one away at night, go for it, sister, whatever you need. Tuesdays are kit making, and I usually write down football for Ivy in the blank line that's there. Okay. So also, I forgot to mention this. On the top, when it does say Monday, right underneath Monday, it says lunch, snack, and supper. Because I do plan out my food under every day so that I don't have to think throughout the day, what am I going to have for supper? Because you know how I preach on and on about it takes up so much mental bandwidth when we're constantly thinking about what's for supper. So I write that down in advance on every single day, Monday through Friday. What is lunch, snack, and supper? Okay, so back to Tuesday. Then I have serging and kits, which is something that I do for my sewing career. I am teaching my kindergartner JK, junior kindergarten this year. So I put that on Tuesdays, and then I also post within my Encourager membership group. Then it has 4 blank lines. Now, those 4 blank lines don't always get filled up when I'm thinking throughout the week, but sometimes they do. So for example, I have a meeting at 2 p.m. So I put that on there. And then I have Ivy's football game and I put that on there. And then of course, because I'm a 3 on the Enneagram and a high achiever, I probably fill in one more thing if I had time. So it's like create the email series for the digital course. Like I usually have one bullet point if I happen to get everything else done. Then my Wednesdays, of course, they lunch, snack, and supper, and then I do all of my errands. Remember, this is part of that blocking. I block everything that is outside of this home for Wednesday morning. So any appointments, I get the groceries, I make all my exchanges with the seamstresses on Wednesday mornings. Then I have fit and finish in the afternoon, and then I have call Grandma Magers. That's that home life, again, with inside my agenda sheet for work. It involves both home life and work life, and then the blank lines. Thursday, lunch, snack, and supper, journal to the kiddos. I write letters to my grandma. I design the work order. I record or write a podcast. It's also my design day, and I have a blank line, so I write down what am I going to work on that day. And then I also teach the junior kindergarten. Now, if you are thinking, oh my word, this woman does a lot during the day, you guys, this is flexible as well. And this has been developed over the last 17 years of each one of these steps. So they don't all take an hour or 3 hours. I do have a system within that, and you can have this too. And then Friday, lunch, snack, and supper, we ship. I have to check accrual inventory. I go live at noon. It's also a design day. And I put on their vision board because I like to peek over at my vision board on Fridays before I end the weekend to hopefully dream and scheme and think about how I'm going to get more of those things accomplished on my vision board. So that's an idea of what I do daily to break my task down is I use the free resource, the agenda sheet. There's also a place on the agenda sheet for larger ideas. So mine literally says big picture in 2 lines. Like big picture, this is what I'm aiming for. What are possibly two things I could do this week to make that big picture come into view better? Meaning I need to build a new tack house. That's where I store the extra storage. So I put tack house on there, and it may just mean that I Google really cool sheds that week. Okay. It's not even something that I can really take action on, but just something, one little tiny, you know how we call it the 1% on it. Okay. And then I have another prompt on my agenda sheet that says other tasks. So these are just things that come up during the week that I don't necessarily have to do on Tuesday or a Thursday, but they nonetheless need to get done. So those tasks I put within those lines. Okay. So the agenda sheet you will use daily to break down your tasks, and you reference it all week long. And the beauty of the agenda sheet is it holds me so accountable to being task-oriented and less about being email-oriented. You know, when you wake up and say the kids get off to school and you're ready to start work and you dive into your email, I highly recommend you look at your agenda sheet first. Even if you're not using our agenda sheet, whatever your daily task thing is, if it's your planner, look at that first before you dig into email, because you'll already be answering people's questions and molding yourself to their demands. So you need to take care of your things first. So I immediately look at mine, shoot off the emails or make the phone calls or start whatever I need to on my agenda sheet long before I check my email. So weekly, here's what I do weekly to get my tasks done. I reference my marketing calendar. Okay. Now this is a calendar I use to organize all of my marketing for Rebecca Scott Designs. I need to look at it weekly though, to know what is coming up for making or ordering or designing or supplying. So I have to look at this marketing sheet far in advance. And I did record a podcast on this called How I 5X'd My Business. It's a very awesome system that we created, and I reference this weekly. So it's a spreadsheet that has every week of the month laid out. So for example, what are we promoting? And let's say it's December. So what are our product launches? What are our VIP recipes? What are our giveaways? What do shows look like that month? And every week it's kind of talking a little bit about what our content's going to be, what our email is going to look like, what is debuting? Do we need to get supplies? And so I have to reference it weekly. And when I reference it weekly, there's actually a little tab called the production side. And then there's a tab that's called the promotion side. So the promotion side is what's actually going on. The production date is 8 weeks out. So I am ordering the supplies and designing 8 weeks before it's actually going to launch. Brilliant, huh? You want to talk about momentum and being able to have a smoother, especially as a maker, being able to have a smoother transition into things. This marketing calendar will do that for you. So I use this weekly to help make sure I have everything ready to go to photo, to build the marketing, and to order any supplies. It is also a place to put my new ideas. Will it fit in this month? And if it won't, what month can I fit it into? Should I build that idea out more or place it in a whole different month? I highly recommend to all my Encourager members to plan out at least 1 month in advance, but preferably 2 months. So meaning if you are in the month of October, you need to plan at least until November 30th. And I do hold my graduates really accountable to that. My graduates are the ones that have taken my master course. And I am on them a lot about their homework that they need to plan out their marketing at least 2 months in advance, because I know so strongly that it will make them more money and give them more flexibility within their family life if their marketing is planned. So to get started, start a spreadsheet with the months of the year, the whole months of the year, and then start filling in ideas and then separate them by weeks, or maybe you're grouping it together. And then you can just like maybe make columns that are ordering, the planning, the executing, maybe it's VIPs. You can do the spreadsheet however you would like. Just make sure that it covers all the months, and then you eventually break it down into weeks because you will need to reference it weekly. Okay, now bi-weekly, I have staff meetings. This is also a free resource on the website, theencouragerpodcast.com. It's a staff meeting agenda. I highly recommend this, even if you're a team of one, okay? You need to go over the talking points from the staff meeting agenda that you can download to really accomplish your goals and get clarity on just what is possible. These hold all the team members to moving forward and readjusting so we can all run together and not on top of each other. Same goes for team of one, you guys. You need to review, what am I trying to do here? Otherwise, we're spinning our wheels and we will naturally go to just the doing instead of, remember the working on your business instead of in your business? Okay. This will hold you accountable to that. And we do that bi-weekly. Some of the notes on our staff agenda sheet are emails, social media content, calendar, priorities, prayer requests. Yep, my agenda sheet has prayer requests. I want to know what my team is going through, and I want to be able to pray for them during the week. And you could do this by yourself. Highly recommend it. I do that bi-weekly. Encouragers, I have to invite you to become members. We have a private Facebook group where it's just $30 a month to become a member, where you get coaching from me and also from the other members, holding us accountable to accomplishing our goals. Now, this year has been super wonky, but how awesome would it be to have a group that is still asking you, how's that one goal going? How are your roles panning out? What do you struggle with? All of those we tackle within this membership group. And also in the membership group, you get a monthly 1-hour Zoom webinar with me on topics you need to gain order and clarity on, exclusive access to our private Facebook group, and the ability to join the monthly live Q&A with me every first Thursday at 11. And a free digital copy of my book, Equipped to Execute. So tons of incentives and a very affordable way to hold you accountable to still rocking 2020. Okay, so for my tasks monthly, I print our spousal business meeting. I know, hey, another free resource. If you go to theencouragerpodcast.com, you can download our spousal business meeting. And this is so good. So every month I do this with my husband, Nick, and we sit down for about 30 to 45 minutes to review our month ahead with some talking points on this agenda, okay? You're not staring at a blank sheet. You're not going to have to stare at each other and wonder what to talk about. I've already got the talking points for you, okay? This meeting seriously holds us accountable as a husband and wife, and then as parents and also as owners of our businesses. So, to give you a little bit of idea, some of the talking points on the spousal business meeting are priorities for that month, our calendars and our schedules, date night, what does it look like, who's going to be involved, expectations. That's a good one. Like, what are you expecting this month? If it's the month of October, my husband says, I'm harvesting and you're not going to see a lot of me. So I can expect that, right? Instead of being crappy about it. Also, we have home improvements. Nick and I love to do home improvements, but I tend to go way overboard and have 10 of them on there. And he goes, these 3 are possible. Okay. So we talk about home improvements. We talk over the budget. We talk over our family, meaning the kids and the parenting. Like, who needs the most help right now? What are you recognizing in a child that I didn't even know about? What have you heard from the teachers that I haven't heard? It's that sort of thing. So we talk through the kids and parenting. We talk about our love languages. How can we serve each other better? And then we also exchange books and resources because I'm a nerd. Nick just basically listens to me go on and on about whatever book I'm reading. But every once in a while, he has a book that he wants me to read, which I love when he's got to give me a resource. So those are some of the talking points in the spousal business meeting that will drastically change how you operate together. We cover all that in about 35 to 40 minutes. And it drastically changes our behavior for the month because we're on the same page. Can you imagine each month if you got to start out on the same page? It's like you're both holding hands, trying to reach around this awesome mission and environment that you have created. It's just the best feeling. Now, obviously things come up in a month that weren't on our calendar, but we can add them or chat them through and still stay on our A game. It's not going to derail us like it would if we didn't have any idea what the month was going to bring. So that's one of my monthly tasks. Now, quarterly, I print our bucket list for the season. This also is a free resource on our website, theencouragerpodcast.com. Go to the resource tab and download the bucket list for the different seasons. I love this one. So I sit with the kiddos and we go over what do you want to happen this quarter. Now, they don't know the word quarter, but I say this season. So, and then approximately when do you think this could happen? So we do have our calendar next to it, but first we just make the really fun list. This causes memories to just naturally start forming. They'll go, oh, remember when we did that last year? And so it can be a really fun time to reminisce together and a really fun time for them, because they're not realizing it, for you to create this legacy for them of what you do during the different seasons. And it's a way of naturally marking the seasons because you know how we always are like, oh, I'm crazy busy. It doesn't seem like we can get it all in. But if you have this to look at, you're like, no, we did take the time to go to the pumpkin patch or to go sledding or ice skating or whatever it is. And the kids were involved in some of that planning and they don't feel like they're in this hurricane of busyness, but that they did pause and experience seasons with their parents. Plus, they love it. My children now know, like, when a season is ending, you know, if it starts snowing, they'll go, oh, we should make the bucket list for the winter. So they anticipate that time to sit together and talk about what we'd like to do when the snow flies. So yearly for my task list, I take a retreat for 2 to 3 days of writing, goal planning, and visioning what I want to happen. I love this trip. I also make sure that I've recorded a podcast on this too, but I also make sure that it's away from home. So even if I have to travel an hour, hour and a half, 3 hours, it's got to be away from home. So I'm not in my home to tackle some quick projects. I've got to be on my own. I need the drive to unwind, all of those things. I make a vision board for the year. I decide what sort of therapy I want to pursue for the new year and also what sort of courses or coaching I want to take on. I also fast during this time. That's totally not necessary if that's not your jam. But because I know of my natural adrenaline rushes in the way I consume content and my addictive personality, I need to fast to get as much clarity as possible. So I go without food. I do have water, but I go without food for a day. If you have these 2 to 3 days, think how much you would make happen. Think about it. If you had 2 or 3 days and you were just had a pencil and a piece of paper, how much could you make happen? It's so thrilling to me to have that time to just, it's a time to reflect on what happened the year before. And I'm talking both home life and business life. I reflect on what went well, what didn't, what can I improve on, what can I be more intentional about. It's just an awesome reflective time. And then it's an also visionary time also about what do I want to see happen. It's a huge reset for me and I crave it every single year. My team loves it when I come back from this retreat because I have so much clarity on what I want to happen for the coming year. They can help me break down what month is going to happen, but usually I have broken that down myself and they can start making their list for their unique positions on how to help me accomplish the goal that I just got really clear on. So there you have it. That's what I do on a daily basis. It's my agenda sheet. On a weekly basis, that's my marketing calendar. Bi-weekly, I have a staff meeting with myself or my team, whichever is best for you. Monthly, I definitely go through our spousal business meeting. Quarterly, I print off those really fun bucket lists. And yearly, I have this retreat. You can start this yourself. Just start by printing off some of the free resources. The marketing one you will need to make, but I'm sure you or your team can help you with that. Those two alone will just be so great. Just start with 2 of these. And then if you can, pick up on the other resources. This just helps me so much with my tasks and all the things going on in my life if I have resources that I reference frequently to help me keep accomplishing and holding me accountable to the different tasks and the missions that God has set before me. So when other asks how I do it, this is how I'm going to start breaking it down for them. I'm going to tell them what I do daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly so that they can have a better grasp of just that it is possible. It is so possible. Again, I always say this phrase is that God did not create chaos. He did not grow a tree from the branches in the ground up, right? You don't randomly see that. He did not create chaos. He created order and beauty, and you are one of his creations. And you can have that. It is possible. The other part that holds me accountable to this is I will be able to say to God when I get up to heaven that I used every last ounce of talent and gift he gave me because I planned and executed on the roles and the missions he laid before me. I will have nothing left to give because I used every last ounce he gave me. That is one major goal I have, and I feel I am accomplishing it day by day. Until next time, encouragers, we got this. I know how you can start executing on all the things that God has equipped you to do. You can pick up my book at theencouragerpodcast.com and check out the store complete with book, journal, and the master course. Also, make sure to check out the resources tab where you'll get a hold of all the PDFs from the podcast. Thank you for tuning in, encouragers. Remember to subscribe so it's automatically on your phone. And please rate and review me. We got this, encouragers.